Welcome to the WSD Level 3 podcast. My name's Chris Scott and we'll get into the interview in a second. I just thought I'd mention that we've got lots and lots of exam questions for you. If you're worried about the exam and you want to do lots of questions, and that's how I used to study for my exams, one of the best ways of doing that is to do lots and lots of questions. We have around 500 marks worth of questions, both multi-choice and long answer style questions, some that mimic the exam, some that just test you. You can get hold of these by going to our website, 3050.co.uk, selecting WCT along the top, and on the left-hand menu is WCT Level 3 exam questions, or just simply type into Google or your search engine 3050, THIRTYFIFTY, 3050, WCT Level 3 exam questions, and that should take you straight to our page. The cost is £20, and it is a great investment. You'll have access to the questions for 6 months, which will normally get most people through their exams. Enjoy. Okay, and this interview coming up is just a general overview and a bit of a chit-chat about Portugal. We touch on the climate towards the end, but the key thing to remember about Portugal is that it's on the west coast facing into the Atlantic. What that means is, if you want to think about it, if you draw a line down the centre of Portugal the long way, north-south, and look at your vineyards, you've got some vineyards that are very coastal, think Vinho Verde, Bahahara, and parts of Alentejano. But then there's also inland areas, parts of the Douro. Parts of the Douro can be a little bit wet, particularly Baixo Corgo. But as you move more into Cima Corgo and Douro Superior, it gets more and more continental, similar with the Douro and, again, further south, Alentejo. Okay, let's get on with the interview. Hi, I'm here with Sonia Fernandes. How are you, Sonia?
I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent. And you're from the Wines of Portugal?
That's correct.
We're going to be talking about Portuguese wine, and in particular the still wines today, because everybody knows about port, but the still wines are making some great progress in the last couple of years. So you're from Portugal?
Yes, I am from the Lisbon office in Portugal, yes.
Okay, and what's your areas of responsibility?
Well, I have 3 markets at the moment. It's the UK, Brazil, and Angola. So I am heading the 3 markets at the moment.
Angola seems like a strange place.
It might sound like a little bit strange, but
UK, maybe Holland, but Angola.
We have many other countries actually. I'm working these 3 other countries, but we work other countries like Germany, Canada, United States, the Nordic countries like Sweden. But Angola is it's the biggest country, the biggest importing country for wines of Portugal.
Really?
Yes, in terms of value and volume.
Really? Do they speak Spanish or Portuguese?
No, they speak Portuguese.
I know Spanish and Portuguese are quite similar, aren't they?
Yes. They are very similar.
Okay, so that's probably why you've got quite a good connection there, is it?
That's correct. We've been, Angola was part of Portugal for many years, until 1974. So there is a cultural link.
Okay, and Brazil,
the same thing. Brazil is the same thing.
So let's talk a wee bit about the wines of Portugal. Obviously, you've got the Douro Valley, but there's more to Portugal than Douro Valley. Can you give us a sort of 10,000 feet view of the still wines in particular?
We produce still wines from the north to the south of the country. We have...
just so, in case people don't know where Portugal is.
Portugal is in the Iberian Peninsula, so we're right beside Spain.
Yep.
And we are on the coast. We are surrounded by the Atlantic and the Mediterranean on the south.
You're on the west side of Spain, really.
And we're on the west side of Spain, that's correct.
It's funny how it's almost like Spain is one place and then there's this carved out area of Portugal on the side.
So we produce still wine from north to the south, from the Minho region, Vinho Verde, maybe you've heard of it, and then the Douro and Bairrada, and the South Algarve, and Alentejo, which is very popular, and the Lisbon region. We're producing amazing wines from all these regions in the country. Whites, reds, rosés. We've been doing a great progress because we were traditionally a country of red wine, and we've been making great progress in the whites and in the rosés as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and very fresh, very aromatic, with good acidity.
I suppose a lot of listeners probably would have heard of the Douro Valley because that's where the ports come from. And that's where I've always associated the reds coming from as well. Is that wrong or?
No, that's not wrong. The Douro Valley produces really, really good and really, it's been some of the most famous and prized wines in Portugal. But we do have other regions producing really good red ones, like the Alentejo, for instance. And traditionally, the Bairrada and Down regions, which I don't know if are familiar to you, but those are really strong regions for reds. The Touriga Nacional, I don't know if you've ever heard.
No, that's a grape variety.
Yeah, it's our most famous grape variety. It's originally from the Down. So you can find beautiful red wines from that grape and other grape varieties, obviously.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
The Galician close, Spain, has Albarino, and I understand it's grown in Portugal as well, but it's not called Albarino, is it?
It's called Alvarinho. It's the same grape variety.
Yeah.
And we've been growing that grape forever. It's one of the most traditional grape varieties in Portugal, and that's what the Vinho Verde was most popular for. There are other grape varieties for Vinho Verde nowadays.
I was going to say, because
yes, there are, like Loureiro and other ones. But Alvarinho is a big one. And we've been producing for many, many, many years in the northwest part of Portugal, the Vinho Verde region.
Okay, and would Vinho Verde be probably the most famous white wine, or?
It was. It has been traditionally the most famous white wine in Portugal. And again, but we have other regions now growing fast and in quality, namely one in the south, which is close to Lisbon. It's called Peninsula de Setúbal. That's where the muscatel comes from. Probably you've known Setúbal for the muscatel, the sweet wine. It's a sweet wine.
I know muscatel.
Okay, we have three kinds of sweet wines in Portugal. We have the Port, very popular. We have the Madeira, very popular as well, and the Muscatel from Setúbal. There's also Muscatel in the Douro, but the Muscatel from Setúbal, so this part close to Lisbon, it's very popular now, and I think the UK market is actually finding out the Muscatel now, and
how's
very
it made?
excited
Is
about
it a still wine or is it a fortified wine?
It's just like it's a fortified wine where you use the brandy to stop fermentation. So it's just like a port or a Madeira.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
But again, that region is producing very good white wines. But again, the Vinho Verde is maybe the most famous for the white wines, the region. And it actually produces amazing.
I've been trying a Verdelho from New Zealand, of all places.
Okay.
And Verdelho is quite it's a Portuguese,
Portuguese grape variety.
Exactly.
Yes.
Do you make still wines out of that?
Oh yes, we do. We do all over, from the north to the south. Again, Verdelho is very used for Portuguese wines.
I always
Verdelho,
associate it with Madeira.
That too, but it's a different type of grape variety, though. It's like the Alvarinho in Galicia and the Alvarinho in Portugal. Actually, they are the same grape variety, but they behave differently.
Slightly different clones.
And they exactly. So it's the same thing. In the mainland, it gives great white wines, and in Madeira, the fortified wines with Verdelho.
If I was to go, right, I'm going to buy myself a case of 4 different wines, 2 whites, 2 lots of white, 2 lots of red. What wines, not necessarily producers,
No,
but
you're talking about regions.
Yeah, if I want to get some diversity in styles and see what's going on.
You're putting me in a very difficult situation. First, because quite honestly, I think all of the regions produce really, really good and worth while trying wines. But I could probably tell you that you should try just to be different. The Douro and the Alentejo and the Vinho Verde, they're very popular. You already know that. But if you want to try something different for a chance, so whites, I would go to Peninsula de Setúbal, and I would get white wines from there. And I would get some nice red wines from the Down and Bairrada regions. So you'd get like a box of each. 1 box of Bairrada, 1 box of Down. You would definitely be impressed with the Touriga Nacional in Down.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because I always think of Touriga Nacional as quite a heavy wine. Is it heavy, or is that just the way that's been...
No, it really depends, again, on the region, because the plant, I mean, the grape variety really tastes and behaves differently according to the regions in Portugal, and it's amazing to see that. If you do a tasting of Touriga Nacional with different regions, you will find differences. It's very floral. I don't consider it heavy at all. I mean, actually, I think it's a very round and very, very nice bodied wine, the Touriga Nacional.
Okay, and how's business?
Portuguese wines are very good in terms of value for money.
Yeah.
And so I think people are starting to realize that. You don't need to have a 40-pound bottle to have a great Portuguese wine. You can find that for $17.99 or for £20. And also because I think people are discovering the diversity, how different Portuguese wines can be.
Okay.
And they're enjoying it, I think.
The EU has invested a lot of money into Portugal in
Yes.
terms of improving vineyards and equipment, very similar to what they did in Spain as well.
That's right.
How long ago did they start in the investment, and is it still going on? Or
Yes, it's still going on. It started about 20 years ago, the investment. So Portugal modernized very much the winemaking techniques. If you go to Portugal nowadays, you'll see that almost all of the wineries have top machinery, use top techniques to produce wine. We in Portugal there was a lot of vineyards being replanted and so on. So there was a great investment, and it's presently one of the biggest economic sectors in Portugal. It's the wine industry.
Oh, okay. Yes. And how's it categorized? Is it small independent growers, large multinationals? What's your typical Portuguese producer?
We have both. Mainly, we have small independent producers, but about 55% of the production is made by big companies. So we have small producers, and we have some big companies that account for a great part of our production.
Is Portuguese driven by brands, or is it more driven by
styles or regions? Or
yeah, how's the marketing mix gone?
You do have both, really. You do have small brands doing very, very well in the international markets and in Portugal as well. Remember that about 70% of the wine produced in Portugal is consumed in Portugal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we export about 33%. The national market is a big market for us. So again, we have both things. Big brands like, I can definitely tell, like everybody knows, like Sograp and Esporão, and Aveleda that produces the Vinho Verde. Those are big brands that everybody knows. They produce very, very good wines. But we have very small independent growers. They're doing very well, extremely well with their brands. Like João Portugal Ramos, for instance. Bacalhau is one of the big ones. You've heard of it as well, for sure. But we definitely have both. We have very small independent growers that are doing very well in international markets.
Some companies have these generic bodies, and you represent generic body. Mm-hmm. Do you represent all of Portuguese growers? How's your funding put together?
All of Portuguese growers. We represent everybody. We are an interprofessional association. We're private association that promotes Portuguese wines. So we're a trade association. All producers are part of ViniPortugal. And we're financed by the Ministry of Agriculture that passes on to us part of the promotion taxes that producers pay. So we represent everybody.
Oh, okay. So everybody pays a compulsory tax that you get a slice of to run.
That's correct. That's exactly it.
Excellent. Okay, now that sounds good. And the last question, one of the things that seems to be gathering pace in the wine industry at the moment is a move to more sustainable viticulture. If you've got a lot of small producers, it's probably not so bad. But what's sustainable viticulture like? Does it have a presence in Portugal? Is there an organic movement there? How does that fit in?
Yes, there is. Again, there are many changes happening in Portugal in the last 10 years, basically. And producers in Portugal used to say something that I find very, very interesting, which is they don't almost need to be certified as organic because they already are. Okay.
So you're on the western coast. There must be a lot of rain.
Yeah, well, we have both. We have a lot of rain, but we have a lot of sun as well. We're a very sunny country.
It's true.
Believe it or not.
No, I do believe you.
So we have these microclimates, which are just perfect for viticulture.
So you get a bit of rain shadow.
Yes. So again, we are, and we have both things. We have the influence from the sea, and we have the influence from the mountains. Mm-hmm. So the mountains kind of cut some of the more aggressive winds and rains and so on. So it's very good. That happens a lot in the Douro. Even though it rains a lot in the Douro, they can have summers that are very, very hot. The Alentejo, for instance, which is plain, they have hotter summers and hotter days, so that's why they produce totally different wines. But again, going back to the biodynamic and to the organic producing, we have a very strong group of producers working on those techniques already. But again, the way viticultural is done nowadays in Portugal, it's almost all organic. Most of the producers don't use any kind of pesticides or anything. So
excellent. All right then, Sonia, I think we'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
No problems.